Gamebreaker TV.
Hi kids, hi kids, hi kids, hi kids. Welcome to my body rolls.
I don't think I could do anything worse than her favorite song. You just proved me oh so very wrong.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to GuildCast episode. I freaked y'all out. So you're all, I went completely the other way. Episode 46 for October 24th, 2012. You're watching Gamebreaker. I'm Gary again, and today we got monsters, spooks. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe a Qui-Gon ghost pirate. I'm not sure. Also, we got controversy, content, and class changes. Lots to talk about today. Of course, we got viewer questions like we always do. Richie, Elizabeth, Scott, B. All right, let's go.
What's up, Mr. Gannon?
Hi. What's up, Richard?
How you doing? Great start to the show. Oh no.
I'm doing about this good. Hi, Liz.
Hi. How are you?
It'd be better if I could hear in both headphones. Having a little trouble with the headphones.
Huh.
That happens after a certain age.
Yeah, you know.
Now you're in trouble.
Yeah, last time I'm not back for this show. It was nice, everybody. Peace.
What's up, Scott?
Oh, you know, not much. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. It's been a while.
Has it?
A week.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Days.
Anyway.
All right, let's talk about some Halloween stuff. Halloween has come to Tyria. Big controversial happenings going on this week. So let's just get all the bad mouthing and smack talking out of the way. On the official forums, there's a thread, ginormous. It's in the Halloween section. It's titled 22 chests open, nothing unique.
I would like to say that person has no reason to QQ because 22 is tiny.
Tiny?
Mm-hmm.
I had, going into the weekend, about 180 chests. I now have about 60 left on my account.
What?
I got nothing Halloween related. And
so you're having a brutal experience.
Well, see, here's the thing, is that you know that when you're going to... you know that when you buy those chests and you're getting into that, you know that it's horrible odds. You know it's going to be. Like, that's the whole point. And it's unfortunate. I remember that there was a whole big thing back a while ago. City of Heroes put in some gamble chests, and people were just livid. But the whole point is that they sell and that people want what's in them, and they don't really care necessarily about it. So I was going into it with the whole idea of, like, I support A-Net, I have all these gems anyway, and bought a couple extra. Like, I have the chest, I want to see what it's all about. And wasn't necessarily bitter. Don't necessarily ever feel like buying keys again, unless they prove that they have a better drop rate for Halloween stuff.
I think that's the definition of bitter.
Yeah, that is the definition of bitter. I'm not going to be bitter, but I definitely don't want to buy a key.
Like, I'm not like, ArenaNet is a terrible company. Like, people were getting seriously like, ArenaNet is robbing us of our money, and I hate them, and this is a horrible game, and they're such money grabbers. And it was not, like, an awesome thing. So
they just dialed it up a little bit too much, sounds like. I mean, the thread on the forums is just insane. It's got 1,100 posts with over 45,000 views on it. So it's definitely not a small issue.
Yeah, it's not. I think they were definitely not necessarily correct about their approach with it. They're fixing that now by having, you can take items from the chest, normal chest drops, put them into the Mystic Forge, and then you get a Halloween-specific chest, which is always going to give you a Halloween thing, whether that's a skin or like consumables or whatever, which I think is the approach they should have taken from the beginning, of having a high drop rate of Halloween candies and stuff from the chest to begin with, because then as long as you're getting something from the event, you feel like, oh, this is okay. But nothing is a little not necessarily on target.
How about you guys? Have you guys had any better experience, or same, or worse? What are you guys having?
I had 200 chests just like Elizabeth, and I opened up 5 and I didn't get anything. Can you believe that? I'm outraged.
Poor thing. Scott probably had 1 chest and opened it and got, like, the chainsaw skin, didn't you?
No. That 4.
4.
What did you get with 4?
I didn't get the chainsaw skin. I didn't. I got shoulders.
Alright,
Nice.
I can live with that. But yeah,
Yeah,
like, so
they're
some people were
not
opening
right.
20 chests and literally getting 2 or 3 skins, and that's totally fine, because that's how odds work. But yeah.
I'm sorry.
So what's so it's all RNG. So some people have opened up a few chests and they've gotten that rare Scythe skin and made some 25 gold really quick. Others have opened a ridiculous amount, have gotten nothing. I mean, I guess it lends for bad press. I mean, it's exactly the kind of story that encourages, people to rush to the gem store and buy some keys, but at the same time, it's having the adverse effect.
Yeah, and it's weird because in so many things they've gone so far away from the RNG. They've made crafting like 100% chance sort of thing. Like, you're not going to fail at crafting. They've taken away RNG in so many things, and then they've left it in these kind of weird places that don't necessarily make sense. So it's odd.
Richie, what's your honest opinion here? I mean, do you think ArenaNet crossed the line on this situation?
Well, either... I don't know if across the line is the right word, but obviously they agree that there's a problem. Either the chests weren't working correctly, or they just had it dialed way, way below the expectations of everybody else, which is more likely. And obviously they feel like that was a mistake because, like Elizabeth said, they are offering a new Mystic Forge recipe, which should be live hopefully soon, where you can put 1 candy corn in, 6 mystery tonics, and 2 boosters of different types, or any type, and you will get that Halloween special thing with Halloween items in it. And I think that's going to, help the situation quite a bit, because if you're like Elizabeth, you're probably swimming in mystery tonics and boosters right now. So
I have more than a stack of
is-
mystery tonics. I could have mystery tonics for days, more than a stack. Got like 300. It's just ridiculous.
What's your opinion, Liz? Do you think has this crossed the line?
I think that it was badly planned out, and so I don't necessarily see this as being malicious, partially because they have gone back and been like, oh, we messed this up, so we're going to give you kind of this out. So I don't see it as them being like, oh, we're just going to make patsies of everybody by doing this. So I think if they had let it stand, it would have been a poor choice. But yeah, so I don't know about necessarily across the line, but I am glad they fixed it. And I don't necessarily see that as being so much of them being amazing as them like fixing the stuff that they messed up.
Scott, you're obviously outraged and appalled by this.
I am. I'm shocked and appalled that I only had to have 4 to get. And Elizabeth, that's it.
Words, kidding.
Sorry. No, the problem is that people, no one really cares about the chests until now, really, because they're swimming in as tonics and all that fun stuff. You can get some cool stuff, but they're not so appealing that people are getting through those chests quick enough anyway. So people are sitting with loads of them, and now they get this, oh, look, there's really cool stuff in them because of this Halloween event. And they've gone trying to bang through loads of these chests, and they're not getting anything thinking they would. The problem is people weren't getting through them quick enough to start with, so you've got people sitting with tons of them just sitting in the bank. And so that's meant when this event's come along, it's made it more of a problem that they're so rare because people have got enough of them to go out and buy loads of keys to try and open all of the ones they've already got in the bank that they couldn't be bothered to look in before because, yeah, I've got a 10% XP boost. That's I think where the issue lies.
I mean, the situation, obviously, ArenaNet has taken notice of this with this thread being so out of control. Regina Buenabra stepped into the thread and had this to say. She said, the team has taken on board your feedback and concerns. We'd recommend not throwing away or selling the items you've been receiving in the Black Lion chests, as we'll be providing ways in which those items can be used to obtain Halloween-related items. So good news, they're paying attention. Liz, I hope you didn't throw away all those worthless tonics, did you?
Nope, I have like an entire like inventory pain in my bank account is boosts and tonics. So I'm well prepared.
She's not making any more age cracks now.
She's not. No, she's not.
Are you kidding? You can do nothing worse to me. I have.
No, but what's been going on? I mean, a lot of people have probably been trashing. Probably a lot of those people have probably been trashing all those tonics, right? I mean, that kind of sucks, especially like for the people before the patch that all made them stack together. They're probably just like ding, 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 ding.
Oh yeah, I was going through them like nuts before they stacked. You're sitting there and you're spamming your 6 skill and the tonic button, and it was just crazy.
What do you guys think of the solution overall? I mean, what do you think? What do you think of ArenaNet's solution with having you utilize some of these items? Do you think is it a good fix?
Yeah, I think it's about as good as they can do, given the situation. And I think this is a key thing. ArenaNet is never going to be perfect. They're not always going to make great decisions, but it's their reaction to those bad decisions that really should count. I think this is a pretty good one because, like Elizabeth said, she went out, she bought some extra keys, she opened up a ton of chests and got nothing for it and is all depressed. And it's not going to completely heal that, but she's going to get something for that now. So
you're obviously very wounded.
You're labeling me with emotions, and I'm not sure how I feel.
Did I label you with what emotion did I label you with?
Depressed. I was not depressed.
Okay, you were disappointed.
I looked like that. That's actually. So I hope that they don't use this solution in the future. Like I hope in the future they just get the drop rate right the first time. Or
that's probably not going to happen, though, right? They're probably going to screw this up a little bit along the way. So, like, what? Either they fix that, or do you actually feel like you should be? You think maybe you should be like refunded some of that?
Again, like I knew going into it, like when you buy a random drop chest, you're going to have really crappy luck, just unless you're Scott. So I'm not so worried about refund because I mean this is giving me something I can use. All of the money that I spent and all the keys that I spent, I can now convert that directly into a Halloween specific chest. So that's actually something I'd like to see them doing is from now on just have event specific chests as opposed to mixing it in with the normal ones so that you don't have to go back and have this fixed later. However, given the kind of situation, I feel like this was a good fix. I would almost have preferred to see them fixing the drop rate for any chest open from this point on. I know other people would be like, but I already spent my money and that's a horrible solution. But I feel like if they had implemented both, it might smooth everything out very well.
So the one thing I've learned from this segment, though, I've learned that you're not only bitter, you're depressed, you're also angry at Scott. That's also quite a problem.
I'm always angry at Scott.
I know. Scott, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the problem is if you have a specific to the event chest, you've got to make the standard chest worth having.
Yeah.
Because if not, then you've got a bag full of two different types of chests. Oh, great. I've got more of this now. The one thing about this with the fix is that you're going to have people going to empty bank slots that are full right now of tonics that they couldn't give a crap about. Because, I'll get to fly maybe for a bird for a couple of minutes.
That is really fun, though.
Oh.
I liked being a snowy owl and flying around the president. It was awesome.
It's better now.
Yeah, it's better now.
With abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
So do you think they just got to get the drop? You think they just got to get the numbers correct, or would you guys actually like to see like a slightly different approach when next holiday comes along?
I think the drop numbers need to be correct, like Elizabeth said, because even with this solution in place, I mean, there's going to be a large percentage of people who don't even know about this Mystic Forge recipe, right? The large percentage of people aren't visiting forums or doing things like that, and probably, so unless they, in tandem, increase the drop rate in these chests, there's going to be more unhappy people that they may not even know about. There's going to be unhappy people that they don't know about, so.
And we've already got, the recipes you need to find from the Mystic Forge and the recipes you need to go for this. It's like, okay, so now if you don't go to the forums, now there's a recipe for the stuff for the event stuff that you've got to find out. And, having something that's just there and feels a bit more reasonable would be better than, yet another recipe that you need to go somewhere to find to make something out.
Speaking of recipes you need to go somewhere to find, so there's, aside from all the chest drops, there's this whole other economy of stuff going on for the event, including you can spend silver or candy corn to get timed weapon skins. These weapon skins cost 6 silver or 150 candy corn, which is actually like 30 silver, so I don't understand why anyone would spend candy corn on them. And they last for 4 hours, and you can't skin them onto other things. They're soul-bound on acquire, so they're just kind of cool skins for 4 hours. And then you can craft exotic versions of them that are permanent and sellable and all that. The problem is these things are like halfway to being a legendary.
I know.
It costs, you have to, like, the gift to make them costs 500 dungeon tokens, plus just a stack of this and that and the other thing. It's so like the gift of souls, which is because I really want this staff, the crossing. It's amazing, and it would just be amazing on my necro. So yeah, so gift of knowledge, the gift of souls to craft it costs 500 tokens from the Crucible of Eternity, 250 orichalcum ingots, 20 globs of ectoplasm, and 100 crystal lodestones, and then you throw that into the forge with 100 mystic coins, 20 superior sigils of night, and an eldritch scroll. So it is halfway to being a legendary. Like, it's just nuts. So that thing sells on the trading post for 500 gold.
Wow.
And so it's such a different thing from what they've ever done with events in the past. As far as holidays go, like, holidays always had 1 or 2 things that you could either get and drops out in the world, as far as like candy cane shards and this and that and the other thing, or there would be an event, and at the end of the event everybody gets like a hat or spectacles or whatever. So this is just such a different approach that I think it's very difficult for many people to get their head around if they're original fans.
Do you think that it's they're slowing legendaries down? Perhaps?
Ooh.
They're slowing the rate at which legendaries going down by having you have to put so much of the stuff you would use for legendaries maybe into these as a way of pulling things off, or a gold sink or a karma sink, something along those lines?
It's possible that they're either doing that or creating a halfway legendary for people who aren't ever going to put in the effort for the legendary. They're like, an entire stack of all the tier 6 materials is just crazy, but I could do this other thing that only requires 2 or 3 stacks. So it's possible that they're making like stepping stones up to legendary status.
Maybe it's just that if you've got that stuff, because you're going to have it now. It's not like you can go, right, I'm going to go out and farm that tomorrow. Like, you've already got to have that. So you're probably not going to have it just sitting around in the bank, are you? If you're not going to be heading maybe towards a legendary, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get a lot of materials out of the economy, because it's just such a short window that you can get this stuff done. So people that have the materials now, like you said, you can't farm it now, or it would be very difficult. It's gonna get a lot of that stuff out of the economy.
Well, the interesting thing is that once you have the recipe to make the gift required for this exotic, you can actually make it whenever. And in fact, none of them require, except for maybe the superior sigils of night, but I'm not sure. But you can actually make everything after the event is over. So if I buy the recipe for 12 gold, I can just sit on it and hoard up my my Crucible of Eternity tokens and stuff like that, and hoard up my orichalcum ingots. So it could be still a long-term goal for people if they're smart now and buy the recipe.
That makes sense. So yeah, it's like a demi-legendary.
Yeah, so it's a stepping point for people who are never going to sink in.
So
it's just crazy because
are aiming at a legendary and going, oh god.
It's just crazy because it's like one of those things that not a lot of people are going to know about. Like, they're just not going to even know this exists.
Oh yeah.
And the guy Aquaman who crafted the trident last week is like, no, I could have had one of these Halloween things. Why did I make that last week?
Yeah.
Told you, Aquaman, lamest superhero, only person who would want that legendary. I called it
or
2
Maroni.
weeks ago. There you go.
All right, it's not all about just black lion chests and keys. Obviously, with the Halloween special, there's costumes in the gem store, free devil horns for everyone. Anybody buy anything? Anybody spending any coin?
I bought like $70 worth of keys. So after that,
oh god! I just got back from Las Vegas and I didn't gamble that much, for God's sake.
that's a little bit of exaggeration, but I do hope to buy the Mad King costume, if only so that at certain times throughout the year when I'm feeling sad, I can just pop it on and like have some of the outrageously bad jokes get told to me, because he has a skill that just...
I bought 20. I bought a lot of gems. I actually haven't bought any of the items yet. I will definitely before the thing's up. The thing that's calling me most is that witch's outfit, the witch/warlock costume. Man, is that thing sweet looking. And if you have an Asura, I don't have an Asura, but if you look at how that looks on Asura, it's amazing.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it's so wicked.
The Mad King outfit looks hilarious on a chart because their heads are so big, and so the headpiece scales, so it's just like this walking pumpkin with a little tiny body under it, which is kind of adorable.
Viewers, let us know what you think. What do you think of the sale? What do you think of the stuff in the shop? Leave a comment below. Let us know what you bought. Let us know what you bought. What do you think of ArenaNet's fix for this issue?
I think we'll have to try it, because I mean, if it's actually as good, if it's at all worthwhile, like I will feel like all the keys were well spent.
Dial it back. Dial it back. Dial it back, Scott.
Breathe, you're good, man.
Sorry, I've been away.
You okay? You okay?
I'm
I know
okay.
Vegas was a culture shock for you. I know.
It really was.
It's just, it's just oozing with culture. It's amazing.
That's what you call that stuff that grows on. Yeah, okay.
Like a throat culture.
I mean, you got to go to New York and Paris and everywhere else, all in, walking distance. It's amazing. It's just like the real thing.
Yeah. I remember when I tapped on the Eiffel Tower and it went,
All right, there's more to talk about than just controversy stuff, so let's get that out of the way. Let's actually talk about the actual Halloween content. It all kicks off in Lion's Arch. What have you guys been up to? I mean, do you think it's actually it's not a very obvious right off the bat? Do you think a lot of people actually would agree with that and possibly miss it?
Oh yeah, you have to really search for it.
It's hard.
Well.
Except for the great big orange
circle with the pumpkin in the middle.
Being facetious.
And the giant candy corn.
And the fact that the Mystic Forge is a cauldron that you can jump into.
Yeah.
There's that too, yes. That's really cool, actually.
Candy canes.
Jumped in the top of the Mystic Forge. Solves all the world's problems. And then you jump out, and I was a luminous green skeleton, and then which is the coolest one. And then I started having a brawl with a giant candy corn monster guy, and that was lots of fun, actually.
Yeah.
All right,
then he came home from Vegas.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
In all seriousness, seriously, this is just Act 1 of 4 acts. How would you rate the event so far as what we've seen?
I love it.
Scale of 1 to pumpkin, or
on a scale of 1 to Leslie.
Ooh.
So negative numbers means great, right?
Yeah. No. On a scale of 1 to 10. Let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, Richie. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna give it a solid 9 so far.
Nice.
I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it like the scavenger hunt is the only like kind of story thing that you can go through so far, and there's a lot of lore in there, and it's very interesting if you're interested in the lore behind the Mad King. But it's not like the most amazing gameplay. But I just love all of the different things that you can do, and that there's just so many little things that are just hidden away. Like I mean, obviously the decorations are amazing, the music and the ambiance and stuff like that. But they went. I found this amazing. When you go to your crafting panel for the different crafting disciplines, there's like a backsplash, right, that shows up. You're doing like weaponsmithing. It kind of looks like weapon tools and stuff. They updated every single black backsplash for every crafting discipline and put a pumpkin in it or spider webs or something kind of creepy. And I was like, wow, they put these tiny little details in it. I can't get enough of that kind of stuff. I really, really, really appreciate that attention to detail. And
They put that little pumpkin head in there. I'm not gonna
That's
let this joke go away for the show. You know that, right? It's not stopping.
No.
Like I can't. It's completely taking over a life of its own, and I can't. I just can't help myself. I just stop the thing on any frame, and that's what I come up with. I just scrub it. And something comes up, and I'm like, I have to show that one now. Look at that. It's amazing. Like I can't not show that.
Necessary.
What do you think of these little Liz? What do you think of these little immersion breakers like this? Do you care? You like this?
I know some people are actually super ticked about them, but I think it's
Really?
adorable and be like not really a huge deal.
Why are they super ticked? Just this is not part of the lore. This is not
You wouldn't really
Tyria
fit candy
as
corn growing on grass. Everybody knows that they're mined from the deep pits, like whatever.
Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, dare
Seriously.
you!
Candy corn is so it's cute. I've actually been spending pretty much all my time like theoretically doing map completion, but actually just running around looking for candy corn.
I love the haunted house doors. The haunted doors are so much fun. You knock on them, and bad things come out. Plastic spiders, candy corn elementals, all kinds
Why would
of
people?
fun stuff.
Why would people be all like miffed about this kind of stuff? I mean, it's a freaking video game, and it's like it's a fake world. Like
Fake worlds are serious business, man.
serious business.
And we all agree though that the baby quaggins are the cutest part of this patch.
I know. I'm completely like I couldn't care less about Halloween, like in general.
I just
find the
love
whole
baby
thing.
quaggin pirates.
I'm like humbug, like about Halloween. But then I walked into and the little baby quaggins walked by with the ghost costume and the pirate, and I'm like,
That was awesome.
That was pretty awesome.
Interesting.
You had an epic epic derp right there.
My heart just melts every time I see them.
All of a sudden, Scott just paused in that position right there. Tell me about Costume Brawl. What do you guys think of Costume Brawl?
It's very chaotic.
It is.
Yeah. If you get an obvious costume, you get creamed.
Lord help you, because everyone else is just looking around, like trying to rack up points. So they're like, "Ooh, that's a person in a costume. I'm gonna go."
That's right. Or if you get if you do well enough and you get the King of the Costume Brawl crown above your head, right? It actually targets you as King of the Hill kind of thing, and you're just doomed at that point. You want the little snow owl, or you want the skeleton that's all black or whatever, the ghoul. It's all black, because then you can kind of blend in and kick people's butts from behind.
Are there any rewards for it though? Am I missing something, or they're just
achievements?
Just achievements.
Yeah, I think it's just achievements.
Doesn't
you are running around in a major city, brawling with other players while looking like a glowing green skeleton. So I feel like that's kind of a reward of its own.
But doesn't arena know we don't play games for that. We play for loot. We want loot. We don't play for fun.
Not in Guild Wars 2, you don't. You're supposed to play for fun, ain't you? Especially if you're running around as a giant articulated candy corn and you're taking it seriously, I suggest you find something else.
Just step out now.
Yes.
All right, let's pay the bills. Go to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Just made that up.
Nice.
Just saying. Thanks. Bro.
I like it better with the guitar.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get the guitar today. No, seriously, guys, want a free 30-day trial? Go over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Sign up for the free 30-day trial today. I know when you try it, you're going to love it. You can stream to your Xbox, your PS3, your Wii, your iPad, maybe your new iPad mini you got on order. Kind of a little miffed that I got my iPad 3 and there's already a faster one. Damn you, Apple.
Ha.
Seriously.
Well, it has been a few weeks.
Oh, yeah. It's actually been about 6 months, but I am still a little miffed. Anyway. Yeah, it's been about 6 months.
Seems like it.
I know. If you want to keep the service, it is $7.99 a month after the free 30 days is up. But if you want to cancel, you can cancel anytime before the free 30 days, and you will not be charged a dime. So really got nothing to lose. Go check it out. Go to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV.
Captain America.
Yes. Supernatural. And Get the Gringo. Mel Gibson.
I'm told that's like Max Payne 4, the movie.
Get the gringo.
But
All right,
with Mel Gibson.
all right, we're done talking about Halloween spooky stuff. Let's talk about patch notes. So a bunch of achievements were added, and more importantly, they got the bonus karma rewards were added to the daily and monthly
So good.
achievements. So happy. What do you guys think? Do you think is it worth? You guys reckon it's worth saving up like your karma consumables and using a bunch of those at once with a car and get a karma booster and just is that what everybody's doing?
Heck yeah.
Elizabeth seems
50
like no.
50% karma booster, and if you get those jugs of liquid karma, those are what are they, 4,500 normally?
Yeah, about.
Yeah, you get, I think you get 10 for doing the monthly achievements, and you get 1 for the daily achievements. And
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
You can just stockpile those things, pop a not crafting booster, karma booster, and just go hog wild. The game got a lot easier to get some karma.
Yeah,
So much karma.
the jugs are just gorgeous.
And we need so very much.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not even
I-
putting it on a character that I'm not planning a legendary for.
I was in Lion's Arch, and someone ran past me earlier carrying Sunrise. I got so misty. It's quite pathetic.
Did you hear that Eternity's apparently been crafted?
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
There was a post that someone's crafted Eternity. It exists in this world.
Double legendaries all the way. What does it mean?
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
I want it now.
All right, on the PvE side, there's apparently a burglar scrit on loose interior that I guess you get some loot out of them. What's going on here? Anybody come across this little
Haven't
bastard?
seen it yet.
What is a burglar?
What?
Burglar. It's like
Burglar.
burgling.
Burglar. Make sure you have your burglar alarms, or the hamburglar will come out.
It's an adjective, so it's an event that is burglar. Kind of like it's spectacular, only it's burglar.
Oh, we're going down this road. I'm gonna start getting the giggles. Stop.
I can't
A
think.
burglar event.
There's a scrit
So a
burglar.
scrit who is a burglar is burgular. Like, that's how it works. Get it?
I'm gonna kill Richie.
This is Richie's new shot right here. What's going on here? Seriously.
Man, I just can't breathe. That's what's going on.
Definitely not me.
Oh,
It's not my fault.
Liz is happy. She just got saved.
Yeah, seriously.
Richie, what's going on here with the hamburglar scrit?
there's a scrit burglar on the loose. Apparently, if you shake them, you catch him, you can get cover some of the stolen loot that he's running around with. But I haven't seen any mention. I don't know where he is. I haven't seen him in game. I don't know what he drops. But it sounds interesting.
Yes. I also have not seen the Scrit, who's burglar.
Does Ronald show up?
You actually get hamburgers, which are consumable in the game. So the whole idea is that like the Scrit pops up and has burglared something and runs away, and so you're chasing after it, and it'll run right through mobs. So you have to choose if you're going to stay and fight the mobs, giving it a chance to get further away, or if you're going to be like, forget mobs and just keep running, which is probably what I will do if ever confronted with this. And then, like, if you hit it, it will drop things, and then if you kill it, it will drop everything or something. So it's a new kind of chance encounter thing.
Yeah, and chat room's got it right. It does sound like the treasure goblin from Diablo 3. It sounds kind of like that.
Yes. It is very treasure goblinish. Treasure goblin Euler.
Burglar.
All right. On top of that, there's over 30 new events dynamic events have been added. 30 new events or dynamic events?
Dynamic event?
Dynamic events. 30 new dynamic events were added to the game. 3
Do
new
they
jumping
have-
puzzles. They don't really have events.
They
per
just
se.
events with
Burglar
undynamic
events.
events.
Yeah,
Burglar
undynamic. Yeah, negative dynamic.
Static
events.
events.
Yeah,
Apathetic
static,
events.
static.
Static events.
And also, after a short delay, PvP paid tournaments were put on hold just for a couple hours. I guess it wasn't even a full 24 hours, but it looks like they're in game now as a few hours ago that went live, right? So, ton of content went in this patch. A lot of quality of life improvements, bug fixes as well. What about some class changes? We got some things there. Elementalists got
It is
burglarized.
good to be an Ellie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
So what do you got? You got. Well, what do you got? You got angle increases on attacks and bug fixes galore. And something with
Yes.
what is it? Earth Dagger, Ring of Earth Dagger, right?
Two of the dagger skills, so the stomping skill and the pull skill, both got fixed so that you weren't like immobilized afterwards and unable to use your other skills. So that got fixed. Angle increase on attacks on some skills got fixed. In the down state, we are so much cooler now. So we have access to vapor form automatically, which is cool. It didn't ever really matter much in PvE, but in PvP, you didn't really have anything. So like if a warrior goes down in PvP and there's one person on him, you have a chance to knock someone down. So you can wait till they're almost through with their finish animation, and then you knock them down, and then you have a chance to use vengeance and kind of get back up and maybe make a successful kill. Ellie's, you kind of just sat there and died because you had access to one skill or two skills automatically that didn't do anything to disrupt people, and you had no way to remove yourself from that situation. And now you do, because Vapor Form is like,
Yeah, huge changes there. Scott, how are Guardians doing this week? Any better than last? No?
Don't let them fool you. They are.
Don't start me on. No, actually, it's okay. It's quite nice. It makes a change. I didn't throw anything when I read the patch notes.
As opposed to the entire China set from 2 weeks ago.
No animals fleed. There was no, windows shattering at the sound of my screaming and wailing at the moon. No, we got a buff to Greatsword. Got a little buff back.
A rebuff.
It needed it. So our area got a damage increase, and Heroic Leap got blind slapped into it, I believe. So I was playing around with that, and it's nice. It's like, oh look, they didn't nerf us anymore. I mean, they'd need to give a shovel to have nerfed us any further into the ground. Not that I'm bitter.
Or angry.
Not bitter, just
Or
disappointed.
depressed.
Remember.
Or depressed.
No,
Just
or
disappointed.
depressed.
Just disappointed.
What about here? What about the big thief changes? Assassin Signet, instead of buffing one attack by 50% damage, it buffs the next 5 attacks by 15%. Is that a nerf buff? What is it? Depends how you look at it. Just a change.
Yeah, I mean,
just a change.
It affects backstab builds quite a bit, right? Some people that are heavy into that might think of it as a nerf, but it actually makes that skill useful in more builds, which is just a great change. And a lot of people will QQ about that on the forums, but you'll see just as many posts on the forums that say, "Hey, look, try out a build that takes advantage of it now, and look, it's actually really good to have your next 5 attacks do more damage." So overall, I think it's going to be a great change. There's quite a lot of positive feedback on the Thief forums about it.
Yeah, I mean, clearly ArenaNet must not have been happy with the one shot coming out of stealth ability that basically they were able to just burst so damn hard with that thing. And I guess on the other hand now, I mean, it's really a nice sustained DPS change.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, overall it's a buff. It just means that it's not so ridiculously front-ended. So, I mean, it just seems like a good solid change.
Is this almost now turning into like a must-have? Like, is this kind of almost a must-have at this point?
I don't know. Like I said, it does make it so that it's viable in more builds. So you will see it more often in a more variety of builds. And it basically just removes the thief from being able to do a 15k backstab, but they can actually pop that and do stuff like their steal ability and do 6k, 5k with a bunch of different moves in a row, and it's pretty solid DPS. I think a lot of thieves will be happy with this.
Yep.
It just means it's not really a face roll, is it? More of a face headbutt, as it was. Poof, that's it, dead. And
A face
so
kick
now
to
you
the
actually
nuts.
Basically. Although that's a weird image.
That's
Kind of.
I'm not sleeping tonight now.
All right, let's do some viewer questions. Well, before we do viewer, I'll ask you got any other stuff you want to talk about? Anything?
Yeah, so we had kind of a historic moment. The first PvE PvP split in a skill came up in this patch. So what is it? Something is it a Guardian skill? I had it up here, and no, I don't. So Save Yourselves as the Guardian has now been split between PvP and PvE, and PvE players will notice no difference. In PvP, the skill's boon duration has now been changed to 5 seconds. So this is something that became a huge problem in Guild Wars 1, was that you had PvE PvP splits. So you would get into PvP and half of your skill bar would change because so many skills were balanced differently. And it's something that they have thus far avoided, but kind of the first one peeked its way into this build for split.
To be the Guardian.
Had to be the Guardian.
We're just the troublemakers.
We are.
Start it all off. Yeah, this could be really bad. It really could. Because I was like, it's a good idea to not have that split, to not have that confusion between PvE and PvP, and apparently it just got to the point that they just couldn't find a way around it, and it's in there, so precedent has been set.
Yeah.
Hold on for more.
But I don't like the other alternative either,
right?
Where they have to totally, nerf something for one side of the fence because it's broken in the other side. I don't like that model either. So there's no perfect solution to it, but I kind of prefer the split, to be honest.
It is the best of.
It's finding that mid ground. It's if the ability isn't going to work for you across both, then that's about design choice. It's down to, if that ability just isn't going to work across both, then you have to make the decision to split it, and that's going to be the way you go for your design of abilities. And if they've gone for that now, then that's the choice they've made, and that's going to have to live with it.
Sounds like a face kick to the nuts to me.
It does sound like that.
It kind of does. All right, let's do some viewer questions. This one first up from Stefan Gospodinov. Stefan says, what do you think of the longevity of the game? It already seems to be declining due to the lack of endgame. How do you think ArenaNet can fix that issue? Quick, swift face kick to the nuts. We're all good. Richie, what do you think?
I think the longevity of the game is going to be awesome. I think it's great. I don't know. We've gone over this so many times, and I've written many words about this. The end game in Guild Wars 2 is not for everyone. If you need a raid schedule, if you need gear progression, you're not going to have anything to do. And if you've attacked this game very, very, very hardcore and have 100% map completion, you've already crafted a legendary, and you've farmed the crap out of every single explorable mode dungeon, then there might not be a ton of things for you to do. I'm not experiencing that problem right now. I think they're going to come out. They're already teasing a huge kind of patch again for November, or more huge content coming. So I'm really interested to see month after month what are they going to be adding to this game, and I'm going to be there for the ride. And if you're not enjoying it, then stop playing for a while and come back when the itch feels like it needs to be scratched.
Or the nut feels like it has to be kicked.
With your face.
Yes. Liz, what do you think?
I think kind of more along the lines of what Richie said. I mean, I'm so far from having anything like burnout on endgame or lack thereof. I mean, today I got my last of my 8 characters above level 10, which is such a tiny thing considering that I want to, kind of push them all up there. So it's not the longevity of the game is not even going to be in question for a lot of players whose style it suits, and a lot of other people have been like, okay, well, I'm already bored and we're done. So yeah, I'm not particularly concerned about the long haul.
Yeah,
how about you, Scott?
Elizabeth the end game is how many more chests can she open? How many more keys can she?
How many more keys? How much more?
Ever opening another one ever again.
Scott, what do you think?
I think the ArenaNet staff go, Elizabeth's putting our children through college.
Seriously.
I think that there's a story that people on the internet want to happen, and that is that Everybody's left Guild Wars 2 now. We all said it was going to happen. We're right. And I think Jason just put in chat. Yeah, 2 servers are full and the rest are high. Yeah, everything's dead. No, everyone's left. Just isn't happening. It isn't. From what I've seen, they're still seeing good populations around. People are not vacating the place like the rats off a sinking ship that it's being portrayed as being. And it's fine. I've still got tons left to do. My problem is getting enough time to play the game, not having nothing to do in the game. I mean, I'm supposed to be doing dungeons with these guys, and I can never sync up to do it. And there's tons of stuff I want to do. I just haven't got enough time. There's lots left for me to do in the game.
There's always going to be that drop off after a game launches, no matter what. You know, there's not many that keep going on the uptick. I mean, over time, maybe they will, but there's always going to be that spike up, and it's going to come down a little bit. So. Next up, this one from Elizabeth Andrews. Elizabeth says, can I do anything worth it as a level 20 for the Halloween event? Liz, since your name you have the same name, I figured 31st.
I noticed that the name is still Stegan God Podnoff, but
oh yeah, look at that. Look at Stegan.
Stegan. He's just getting lots of questions this week.
Questionable man. So you can always be farming candy nodes and you'll be getting drops as you're playing the game normally. They have said, Arena has said, that they are implementing some of the auto-leveling techniques from World vs. World so that more people can enjoy Halloween content. I don't know that we've actually seen that content yet, but that is something that they've said because they want more people than just 80s, obviously, to be able to experience it. So everything we've seen so far is for what, like 15 to 30s ish. I think
the highest thing is Gandharan Fields, which is 25.
So for Verdant Crypt is about 25. So up to level 25 is what we've seen so far. I don't necessarily imagine that we'll see something far beyond that because again, they do want it to be accessible. So yes, you can totally do things.
All right, last up from Michael Loria. At this point in the game's life, is it reasonable or fair to compare it to other games that have been out for years? Do you feel like people's expectations for Guild Wars 2 are slightly askew? What do you think, Scott?
I think he's a poet and he doesn't know it. I think that it's absolutely fair to compare it to other games because people are going to anyway. That's just the way it is. So, is this a game that can be compared to stuff that's been out for a long time? Yes. Is it as ready? Does it have as much content as quite a lot of other games that have been out for a very long time? Yes, it does. So, sure. I think people's perspectives are a little askew because they're coming into it like it's the other games that they've played, and it is not. And we said that about 1 billion times. But yeah, people are coming in and there's no raids. Yeah, I know they're in. Never said there was.
We didn't put them in.
Exactly. Where's my raids?
Where's my raids?
I want a raid. There aren't any. So if you want a raiding game, this isn't the game for you. And that's perfectly okay. It's okay to have different games that offer different things. Go, play them.
Elizabeth, what do you think? You think people's expectations are slightly askew?
Probably. People want it to be other games, specifically a certain other game that has been out for about 7 years and put pretty much a good precedent for MMOs. But it's not. And so, again, like it is in many ways comparable to games that have been out for an extended period of time, whether you're looking at combat styles or amount of content or depth of content or amount of legendaries that people know. So I think people are going to do it whether it's fair or not, and I think the game can generally hold up pretty well to that, so it's not like they're cheating the system by comparing it to things that have been out far longer.
What do you think, Rich? Is it fair to compare? Poet didn't know it?
People are going to compare whether we think it's fair or not. I think it is a good point to kind of look at it and say, listen, this is a game with all of these features and all of this polish, and we're only 2 months in. And if you look at some of these other games that you hold on the pedestal of how they were at the 2-month mark, yeah, compare that, and that's a much different picture than what a lot of people are actually comparing. So I think it's launched very, very successfully, and I think we're going to see a lot of good things for this game in years to come.
I agree, sir. Mr. Scott Hawks. Follow him on the Twitter at Scott Hawks. Nope. Follow him at Jaramore, not Scott Hawks. Follow him at Jaramore, Jarimor. And of course, go to Zam.com and check out all their content. Go to Guildhead for all your Guild Wars 2 database needs. Guildhead. Richie Procopio. Follow him over on the Twitter at Richie Procopio. And of course, go over to his YouTube channel, Bog Otter. Check all that stuff out. And all the stuff he's writing on Gamebreaker.tv right here. It's great having you as again. And it's Elizabeth Clare. Follow her on the Twitter at Elizabeth Clare. Go over to Massively. Make sure to read all her Guild Wars 2 writing over there, over on Massively as well. Elizabeth Clare. Indeed. Richie, Elizabeth, Scott, some jerk who drives the bus. Have a great week. See you next week.